What's going on, guys? I'm just doing a little market recap right here. Now, if you're watching this as a recording, just let me know your comments on this. But anyways, I'm going to be breaking down mainly the major indexes such as the NASDAQ, the SPY, and the Russell. And then I'll go from there and breaking down stocks that I trade. So let's start with the NASDAQ. Now, the NASDAQ, guys, had an amazing week. We hit all-time highs once again. Now we opened this week and we started basically making this higher low pattern. So we were pushing up. We got the dip buy. I think this was on Tuesday. Let me check the date real quick. So that was Monday. Okay, yeah. So we got this amazing dip buy on Monday, and then from there we just basically had this enormous push up. Now, as you can see, the last time we hit all-time highs was all the way back in August. So it's been a little bit. We tried hitting all-time highs back here in the beginning of November, and we didn't. And then this is where the beauty happened. We had this consolidation pattern. Now, typically, when stocks consolidate, that means they're gearing up for a move up. And that's exactly what happened, guys. We consolidated for a couple of days and even weeks, and then we had that strong move up, ending with the end of last week and now starting the beginning of this week, and it just continued the whole week. So as you can see, like I mentioned, we had that dip buy on Monday, and then we had just an amazing push up. Now I charted this area right here, this support and this resistance, because it was based off of all-time highs and also this area right here. Notice how we consolidated right here and we stayed around this area. That was your entry to go long. Now, when we consolidate, that means that the buyers are holding this level. There's not enough selling pressure, and we did not fall through. That's the main reason. That was my indication of, hey, we're about to go for it. And look what happens. We had this huge green candle the following day. However, we do hit some sellers up here, and we fall back down. But notice again that this time, we're not really falling back down towards the support, other than this day right here where we had this another amazing dip buy and buyers bought it right up. This was actually, I think, Wednesday morning. I watched it go from 100 points down to actually up. So that was a good dip buy opportunity as well. And then let me give you a little secret with your trading. So you notice how we're consolidating once again around the resistance. That's also another indication to go long. Oh, so PJ Young, you said, hey, what's your call on NEO for the week? Okay, I'll answer that for you real quick. So if you watched my video that I just posted on NEO, did you watch that? If you didn't, that's okay. I'll break NEO down for you right now. So this is how I chart out NEO, or I did in my previous video. We had this strong support area right here, and we actually broke this on Friday. We broke this support. Now that was an important level to hold. Now, when you're identifying these supports, I'll actually go through the process of how I did that. So I identified this support because we noticed that each time that sellers tried to push price down, buyers came in. Look right here, guys. Buyers came right here. Buyers came right here, so forth. So you know that this was a strong support, and then buyers came here. However, we broke this support, and now on Monday, I think we're also going to have a red day, or if we do have a green day, it's going to be a slight green day, and then we're going to probably retest support and fall back down. Now, I'll chart out some key levels that you need to be looking at for with NEO going on Monday and the rest of the week. So the first area you need to look at is this support right here. So the reason why this will be the next support is because this was another area where buyers came in and pushed price up. Look right here, guys. We had this wick right here, meaning that sellers tried to push price down, but buyers came in. Right here, buyers came in. And then back here, buyers came in. So this is a key level that we could be heading towards next week. Now, that doesn't mean we have to head towards this. It could turn around right here easily. But if you're looking for a good dip buy, that's where I'd be wanting NEO. Now, let's say, for the sake of this live stream, that we blow right through this level. The next level I'm going to be looking for on NEO is this level right here. This is the next level I'll be looking for another dip buy, around the 35 range. Now, it all depends on how much risk you want to give. So for the sake of the live stream, let's do a couple of scenarios where we get in NEO. So let's pretend you're in Neo right now. You got in at the end of the day, or sorry, Friday. Now, if you got in Friday, this is how I structure my trade, guys. Now, if you're new to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button, but also go back to my other videos, because I implement a stop loss in every single video, and I go through the process of why you should implement that, because it helps, preserve your capital as a trader, and you need to have a plan when you're going in these trades. So look right here, guys. Look what happens. So we implement our stop loss, and the reason why I put my stop loss right here is because this wick right here. So I normally do it based off of wicks, right? Now, your stop loss will depend on you. This is all relative to you, but you still need to have that. Now, the reason why I'm saying it's relative to you is because it's how much you're willing to risk and how much you're willing to give. Now, you can also have wider stop losses in the scenario that you have a smaller position. So if you want to have a small position, then sure, have a wider stop loss just because you had that smaller position. But if you're going in with a larger position, make sure you have that tight stop loss, because you don't want it going down further and you lose that capital. So guys, if I'm in Neo right now, I got it on it at the end of Friday, this is how I'd be structuring my trade. So my take profit would be here up at this resistance, and my stop loss would be right here. But on Monday, be prepared that we might have another type of pullback down to this 38 range. Now, that is a big move, so we might not hit that on Monday, but it could happen earlier in this week. So if you're holding Neo right now, either one, you're now becoming an investor, so you're going to hold this for who knows long, or two, you just go ahead and cut your losses, get in at a cheaper price, because I know how it feels to hold a position. It's an emotional wreck just seeing your account keep going down and down and down. Now, you can become an investor in Neo, and if you're an investor, then that's completely fine. There's two different things between trading and investing. Trading, you're planning these things out right here, and you're constantly looking at it, and you're managing it. If you're an investor, you don't care where this is going. You're holding this for the next year, 5 years, 10 years down the road, and that's completely fine. Neo is a great company, and I think they're going to be doing great in the future. So if you're doing that, that's fine. But if you're trading it and you're looking to, make money as a trader, then you need to implement these type of stop losses and these type of plans in your trades. So PJ, did that answer your question regarding where I think Neo is going, or what my call is for Neo? So overall, I think that we're going to pull back down to the support, but if we have a green day on Monday, then we're most likely going to retest this resistance. Now, on Monday, I want to see how it reacts around the resistance. Do we consolidate? If we consolidate, PJ, then most likely we'll probably blast right through and continue this uptrend. But if we get instantly rejected, then we're probably heading back down to the support. Now, if you have any other question about a stock, just let me know in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to break it down. But if you still need some clarification on Neo, just let me know, PJ, and I will try to help you out on that. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting for him to respond, I'll continue my breakdown of the NASDAQ. So as I was talking about how we hit all-time highs on the NASDAQ, this was a really crucial week for us. This was a rocking week. Okay, PJ, you said it was perfect. Thank you. What's your take on Rolls-Royce? Okay, I haven't actually broke that one down. Let's see. Is this the right one? Which one is it, PJ? Can you give me the symbol? Is it this one? Is it on a different stock exchange? Just let me know what the symbol is. Because I know this saying OTC, that means over the counter. So that isn't on the direct stock exchange for us. Is it RR dot? Because I don't know the ticker symbol right off bat. Is this? Oh yeah, this looks it. Am I correct? Is this it right here, PJ? I'll wait for you to respond before I break this down, just so we can make sure that this is the right one. RYCEY. Okay, let's see. RYCEY. Okay. Are you sure? Is this the right one? Because this looks like it's over the counter. So you're talking about this one, right? If this is the right one, I'll break this down for you. But if it was the other one, then just let me know. But if this is the right one, it's at, okay, so this is the right one. Okay, perfect, PJ. Okay, so I'll break this one down for you, PJ. So let's see what's happening here. All right, so the first thing I noticed that we had this gap down on December 1st. So now the reason we probably had this gap down is because of this dividend right here. Now, typically with dividends, people will hold it through the dividend date and they sell it just because they want the dividend. Now, PJ, can you see this? Okay, perfect. All right. So what I'm looking at right here is I see that they gap down. Now, the reason could be several things. So, like I said, the most likely one is that it had this dividend and they typically sell off. Now, I would probably look further into this. Now, I don't really know about OTC stocks and how they trade, but we can chart out some different levels just based off how I would trade this if this was a stock. So, right off the bat, we know that this was a support area. This was basically all-time lows for Rolls-Royce. Now, the next level of interest I'm going to be looking for is this resistance around here. So this is one that we need to get above to make sure that we're bullish. Now, the reason I'm saying that this is an important level is because notice the action around here. Now, PJ, when you're looking at these candles, you need to actually look at the psychology behind these candles and what the game of tug of war is happening between buyers and sellers. Now, you notice that we push up and then sellers come in and push price down. So you know that buyers tried to push price up to this level, but sellers came in. Same right here. Buyers tried to push it up here, but sellers came in. And you need to notice, look, what happens. There's fewer buyers up here. Buyers are getting exhausted and are not being able to push price up anymore just because of that wick. Now, look over here. Same scenario. We have this scenario where buyers push it up, but sellers push it down. And PJ, if you're still in here, can you tell me if the stream is still going? Because on my end, I'm having a black screen. Just let me know if the stream is still going before I further do this, because I don't know if you can still see my screen. If you can still see it, I'll continue this, but just let me know in the chat, just because I don't know if I can still see this. Okay, it's working now. Okay, sorry for that. It just wasn't showing up on my screen. Okay, so I'm going to get back to breaking this down for you. So, as I was talking about where the sellers came in right here. So this is a key level for us. But notice here how we found support right here. We found support right here. And then we bounced up. Same here. Right? Sellers tried to tag this area, but it bounced. But notice this time we're testing it from the other underside. So PJ, if you're in this right now, the main thing I'm going to be looking for right now is for us to get above this. If we get above this, then we can have the talk where we're bullish. Now, if we struggle to get above this, then we're most likely heading back down to this downtrend, and this is just going to be a lower high. So when you're trading this, PJ, this is the level of interest that you need to be looking at, right? Because I mentioned that sellers came in, push price down. Sellers came in, push price down. So buyers are unable to push it back up. Same here. But then we found support right here. So do you see why that's an important level for this Rolls-Royce? So when you're trying to make these support and resistance lines, it's a lot more than looking at the candle bodies. You need to also look at the story where the wicks are telling you. And if you can do that, it will take your trading to the next level. You'll become a better trader. And I appreciate you for calling these stocks out. That's amazing. I appreciate you and your time here where you're learning. Now, if you have another stock, or if you want me to continue, or I can go and continue and break down like how I would trade this right now if I was in it, go ahead and I can do that. I'll actually go ahead and do that for you. And while I'm doing that, think of another stock that you want me to break down. I'll be more than happy to break that down for you, PJ. So I'm going to pretend like I'm in it right now, PJ. And I'm going to say this is where my stop loss is going to be. And I'm going to take profit above the resistance, okay? So if I'm in this trade right now, I don't want to give it any more room than this wick right here. I don't want it to go below this wick, because once we go below this wick, I will tell you the next level we're probably heading at. We're probably heading somewhere around here. This was a strong mini support right here. This was a level. Also, look right here. It was a support right here. So if we're downtrending, the most likely place that we're going to find support is right here. Okay? So if you're in this right now, cut loss, get back in right here, okay? That's under the impression that we continue this downtrend. On Monday when we open up, we could blow right through this resistance, okay? But if we do get at this wick, just cut the loss and get back in, okay? Because then you won't have to suffer it from here to here. Now, I don't trade OTCs, so I'm not familiar with how they move, or because I know they're different than stocks, how they move. The psychology is a little different behind it, but you can still chart it out. This does look like an area of how they interest. See how they move? And this was probably due to the coronavirus. That's why we saw that huge dip in Rolls-Royce. But other than that, like I said, I'd be very careful when trading this. Have your stop loss tight. And if you're already in it, consider tagging out now and getting back in for a better price. Now, that's up to what you want to do and where your money is at. I don't know your situation. If you can afford to still be in this and not need that money, that's completely fine. That's your situation, you know. But if you need that capital, consider it being used better somewhere else, you know. Would you rather want your money still tied in this when you can use that freed up capital and put it in a better stock, if that makes sense to you? Now, if you want me to break down another stock, I'll be more than happy to do that. Just let me know in the chat. I'll be more than happy to actually break that down for you. And like I said, I appreciate you being here. I'll probably live stream for about 10 more minutes. This is just going to be a quick little live stream. So if you want to get another stock or two in, I'll be more than happy to do that for you. But let's look at the SPY before I break down another one. So the SPY, like I said, its tech stocks are in it, but it's like in between. So between the NASDAQ and the Russell. So Russell, in case you didn't know, was the small caps. That's like the airline stocks, the hotel stocks. NASDAQ is tech, like Apple, Microsoft. SPY is like somewhere in between. It has a mixture of both. But once again, we broke out on SPY. Okay, you want AQB and Novus. Okay, I'll break that down for you, PG. AQB. Alright. Okay. Wow, this had a huge shot up. Are you in this? Now, this probably had some news that affected this. Now, let's look at the news behind this. So I'll just type this in. Google, see what they did. So let's see what we can find here. Okay, so it has a potential solution for growing demand for high quality food protein. Okay, so it's like a medical technology stock. Okay, so they must have had some news that caused this catalyst. Now, if you got in, do you mind telling me your entry, or are you just watching it? That's okay if you're just watching it. But if you got in, just let me know your entry so I can base your entry off of how I would trade it. Okay, so I'll show you my stop loss based off of your entry. But other than that, this is one of those technology companies that you basically gotta catch on the news. So they'll just pump based off of a certain news, but we'll just chart what we can. Okay, PJ, what's your entry on this? While you're telling me your entry, waiting on your entry, I'll just chart some key levels for you to be on the lookout for. All right, so you notice how we went horizontal right here for a little bit. We actually broke below here, but then we continued this horizontal pattern. So that could have been a signal to get in when we got down here close to the support. Now, like I said, for this to shoot up like this for the last couple of days, there had to have been some type of news. And if you knew about that news, perfect. And there was multiple opportunities for you to get in on this stock, right? So we had the retest right here, so at $5. Once again, we had another retest. But notice, PJ, I want you to notice something here. When you're trading, like I said, look at the psychology. Oh, you got at you're doing amazing, man. You got in at $5. Oh my goodness. Okay. So you got in at $5. Wow. So you got in at that dip basically. Wow, PJ. Hold on. Let me fix this for you. You're doing amazing, man. That's amazing. Wow. Wow. I'd consider locking in profits, PJ. Or let me tell you something. Okay, so this is what I do with a lot of stocks. So if I'm up massively, what I'll do is called a trailing stop. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's where, let's say the stock pushes up to $6, right? Well, then you move up your trailing stop. So you tag out, but you don't lose that profit that you made back at $5. Does that make sense? So the more it goes up, the more your trailing stop goes up. So that's honestly what I would implement with this. So on Monday, when market opens, depending on how we open, go ahead and put you a trailing stop, okay? Now, if you just want to do it like this, right? I'd stop out at this wick, PJ. So on Monday, if we get below this wick, go ahead and get out of it. Lock in your profits because you're honestly up a lot right now. Just based off of your entry, we're up $3 right now. So on Monday, if we get below this wick, lock in your profits. But if we're continue climbing on Monday, that's perfectly fine. Just keep moving that stop loss up so you're not giving back all of that profit that you had from that $5 move, because we could come screaming down and and retest this area, and then bam, you just gave back all of that profit that you have. So implement that trailing stop loss in your trading, because that'll help you tremendously. It'll prevent you from giving back all of that profit you've already made. So like I said, on Monday, depending on how we open, if we open up huge green, back to all-time highs, maybe lock in 3/4 of your position size and let 1/4 run. So just because you're protecting that capital that you already made. So that's something to take and consider when you're doing your trading. And that's what I do in my trading, PJ. I implement my stop loss, my trailing stop. So as we're making new highs, I'm trailing it up. So if we do have that pullback, then I tag out. So you're in it closed at 8:06. So like I said, Monday, if we get below this wick, go ahead and tag out. Now I'm on the 4-hour time frame. We can look at the 1-hour time frame and see where some more support is at. Yeah. So this is another wick right here. This area right here. You could tag out right there at 760. If you want to give it a little wider stop loss, it's all dependent on your risk management. I like to keep things tight. And also depends on your position size. So if you're in it pretty heavy, that's okay. Have a tight stop loss. But if you're in it light compared to your account size, go ahead and have that, wider stop loss. But my dead where I wouldn't want it getting below is this area right here. I wouldn't get below that because as you can see, once we get below this, there's no area of support until this range right here, the 650. So you don't want to give back all of this capital that you just gained. So like I said, just have that trailing stop loss and see where we're heading on Monday. Now I'll break down your other one for you. NOVUS. Okay. All right. So this is Novus Capital Corp. It's in the finance sector. Okay. So we recently IPO'd. We IPO'd back at beginning of June. So it's not too hasn't been around too long, but we have had this huge run up. I can see now, PJ, if you're in this one or if you're watching it, if you're in it, let me know where you got in so we can go ahead and structure this trade again. But while you're doing that, I'll put in some key levels. So obviously this one right here is. Now the reason why, sellers tried to push price down, buyers came back in. Obvious level, look back here. Sellers tried to push it, or buyers tried to push it up, sellers came in. So we noticed that here, sellers pushed it down, we got rejected. But here, buyers came in. So if you're in this right now, this is how I do it. I would, let's say I'm just going to put a stop loss. I'd have my stop loss right here. Sorry about that. I have my stop loss right here. This is how I'd have my stop loss if it breaks support. Now, it depends on where you got in. If you got in sooner, or if you're in this for a loss, it all depends on what you're doing right now. So just let me know your entry. And if you're not in it, just let me know where you were looking at to get in at. And then I'll be more than happy to structure my trade that way. And I'll look back here for some more levels for you. Now, we don't have too much to go off of just because this is a newer stock. But it looks like it has a little bit lower volume too. But let me see if I can find another level for you. Right here is the next level that comes to my mind. Just because, okay, you got in at $12. Oh my goodness, PJ, you're killing it, man. You are honestly killing it. You're having great entries. So you got in at $12. Okay. So you've been rocking and rolling. Okay. Well, PJ, it's my advice is literally the same from the last stock. Implement that stop. Implement that trailing stop, man. Just continue moving your stop loss up. That's basically my advice for you for this, because you honestly have great entries on both of these stocks. So the only thing that you're concerned about now is, preserving that capital and that profit you've already made. Now, like I said, with the same scenario, it all depends on your position size. Now, if you're in it pretty heavy, then I'd have a tighter stop loss, so I'd tag out right here. But if you're in it pretty light, then go ahead and have a wider stop loss. You can have that loss, so I'd consider something right here, honestly, because we might as well could have this bounce right here. So Monday, PJ, my main thing to look for you is, do we get that bounce on Monday? Do we bounce here? And then if we do, then honestly, our next level of resistance is right around here. So if we're doing great on Monday, see where we bounce at and see how we react at this resistance level, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Do we hang around it, consolidate, or do we blow right through it or get rejected? So that's a couple of scenarios you need to keep a lookout for. But if we do, let's say, have a red day on Monday, then we're probably heading down, and then you need to consider implementing that stop loss. Now, if you want to stay in this stock, if this is something you're looking to swing for a longer period of time, or if you're trading it, now you can trim off a little of your position. You don't have to stop out of all of it, You could stop out of a majority of it and, and let that other portion run. Even if we do follow a considerable amount, that portion won't hurt you because it's a lot smaller than what you had, if that makes sense. I do that a lot too, where I still want to stay in the stock just because I like it for, a longer term stock. Whereas if I'm trading, I get out sooner. So it just all depends on what your strategy is. Are you trading it, or are you looking to hold it? If you're looking to hold it, then I consider still locking in some profits, just because you don't want to give back the profits you've already made back from, $12. But I hope that helped you with your trading and your analysis. Now, I'll probably end this stream in, a couple minutes just because I've been live for 2 minutes. But if you enjoyed this type of stream, if you're watching this recording, I'll probably do this every Saturday night for you all. If y'all have nothing to do, then just come in here and chill with me. And I'll probably be streaming next week during market open. So if you're watching this as a recording, look out for my streams at market open next week, because that's something I want to do to help y'all for live trading. So when market is open, then I can help y'all analyze stocks while they're actually moving. Now, if that's something y'all are interested in, then just let me know in the comments below. I know, PJ, you'll probably tune in just because you're here with me at night. But thank you all for tuning in. And like I said, put those notifications on, because I will be going live next week during market open, and I will be breaking those stocks down for you. Now, like I said, I appreciate all of you here and all of you that will be watching this recording, and I will see you in the next stream. Thank you once again. Huge shout out to you, PJ, though, before we go. Thank you for sticking here with me, and thank you for calling out those tickers. I really appreciate it, and I'll be more than happy to do those again for you. So I will see you all in the next live stream.